Greetings and salutations, everyone. There's going to be a lot of errors in this video because I do not edit it. I'm not going to retake this. So I am here to show you how I've been making my fabric mask. I've had a couple people ask. This is one that I've completed, and I've been finding it's been a really good pattern so far. So it's 8 inches wide by 15 inches. So you're going to cut one of those, and then this is for the ties. Each tie is 1.5 inches wide by 14 inches long. So you're going to need 4 ties. And then with your first tie, you're just going to iron down this part here. So just like 1/4 inch, just tap it down. And then the next step, you can see that little part I've tapped down. Now you're going to fold the 2 sides in so they kind of meet. You know, it doesn't have to be exact science. And so you just kind of iron that straight down. Step number 3 for the ties. So you can see the little part that's tapped down, then they're folded into each other. Then you're going to fold it over again. So 2 sides folded in, and then you're going to fold it, and then you're just going to iron it down the whole way. And then once you've ironed that, you're going to sew it down just with a single, regular old stitch on the sewing machine. So you can see I just went down, and then this is the end that's going to be visible. So I just kind of went stitched up and down it. This end is going to be going into the mask, so not necessary to stitch that up. Then the first step you do for the actual base of the mask, you're going to fold over each side and iron it down. Roughly 1/2 inch. Again, I don't really measure, I just kind of eyeball it. So then you're going to do the other side the same way. Iron that down. Once it's ironed down, you fold it in half and it's going to look like this. And then up top here, you're going to sew in 1.75 inches on each side. And what that's going to leave is a pocket that you can insert a filter into your mask if you so choose. And so again, just did like a 1/2 inch seam on the top there. So you're just going to do that. And then the next step is this. You're going to then open up that, because this is exactly what we had the last time. You can see the little seams there. You're just going to flop it open and iron it flat. So it's going to look like that. And then you're going to inside the whole thing out. So you're going to flip that project inside out. You can see there's the filter hole that I was talking about. You're going to fold it so it's about a little over 1/2 inch, roughly 1/2 inch from the top there. And then you're going to iron that whole thing flat. And so this is where, you're going to insert the filter. This is going to go over the nose here on the inside. Then the next step is going to be inserting the wiring for the nose. Really important to have a part on the nose that's going to, bend to get a better seal. So I'm using twist ties that I have from trash bags. So you can see that it's nice and bendable there. So you're going to slide that in here, and then you're going to stitch that down. So this is from the outside. You can see just stitched it right down to where that is. And again, there's that little filter pocket if you're going to put a filter in there. So that's that step. And then each going to look like this. These are for the pleats. So what I've done for the pleats here is this is the center. This one is about 1 inch, I believe. Yeah, it's about 1 inch from the bottom. And then the top is 1.5 inches. Can't quite see yet. 1.5 inches there. And then I split, and that's the middle of between the top and the bottom seams. Then each one of these on each side of the center is 3/4 inch, and then whatever's left over is in there. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to fold each one of the pleats so that it ends up looking like this. And so with the center one, you're going to take and just fold in just like that. And then the next one, you're just gonna take and fold like that. So you're gonna fold it in. Sorry about my delightfully horrible camera skills here, but nothing fancy here. And then, ta-da, look at this. So then you're just gonna take your ties that you've already finished, and you're going to attach them into the side there. And then when you're all done, you're going to zigzag stitch. I'd like to do 2 rows of it. It seems to help this face part just fit better and hold everything in place. And make sure you iron. So you can see the pleats are all nice and ironed flat. Really important to iron, and you can see there's quite a bit of spacing. Really important if you guys are not using medical masks underneath these to not have a seam in the front. So this is why it's important if you're going to be wearing a medical mask underneath, a seam in the front is fine. But if you're not actually using a true filter or medical mask underneath, it is not going to protect you enough, because the whole point of quilters cotton being semi-protective is the fact that it's so tightly woven, and if you put a seam there, you're going to be letting a lot of sputum out of the front, which is kind of counterintuitive to why quilters cotton technically is considered protective. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message, ask, but this is basically how I've been making my mask. So party on, stay safe, my folks.